Welcome back to DMOP Garage. We are working on the 52 Krankenwagen, and if you don't know what this build is all about, check out the playlist below and you can catch up to where we're at. We have some carburetor tuning issues in the last video. We had Oven Boy come down. We couldn't sort it out. We've had quite a few comments and I reckon we could be onto something. Now, what I have done is I've taken off the pipe which runs from the fuel pump to the carburetor, and we're going to put a tube, which I have here. We've just had to sort of custom make this. This is our little setup because it is a copper tube. Now, what I'm going to try and do here is screw that into there. We're going to fill this up with fuel on a little magnet and we'll stick it up there like so. And we're going to gravity feed the carburetor. Now, what potentially could be happening is we might have an overpressure issue with the fuel pump. Now, this was rebuilt with the kit, and even though I did have it running and it was idling fine, I suspect now that the air leak is fixed, that it might be drawing more suction and creating more pressure. And that's why we're getting that leak inside on the emulsion tube, because that's where the fuel's actually leaking in from. I don't think there's anything wrong with the butterfly. I think that this whole mod that I did is fine. So anyway, we're going to find out. We're going to fire it up. We're going to put some fuel in this container, just gravity feed it, which will eliminate the fuel pressure. Philippe was the one that sort of said, give it a go, see what happens. So that's what we're going to do. And let's see what happens. So let's get this thing sorted. Now, what I might need to do is just plug that up, because we don't want... I've disconnected the fuel back here, so we're not going to get any fuel coming from the tank into the pump, but there might still be a little bit of, probably be residual, only a little bit. I'll put a rag over the top of that. Right, let's give this thing a go and see what happens. Now, if it still does the same thing, then we know 100% it is the carburetor that is the problem. If it doesn't do it, then we know we have to go back inside here and add some shims and get this thing pressured down. So okay, interesting. Unfortunately I didn't film it, but I did put this on and it didn't rev up. So I've got a feeling it's got to be a combination of the air leakage and the new gasket kit that we put in this. But the problem was it was running with that as it is. I didn't change it, so that's still thrown me a curveball. Anyway, I'm going to take the pump out now, add another gasket to it, which will lower the fuel pressure, because I think that this is where we're at. It conked out before I had enough fuel in there because it's just too high up in here to have a bottle sitting there. But as soon as it started, it didn't rev up to that same RPM. So I think we could potentially be on a winner here. Yeah. No. Let's pull this out and we'll add another gasket to it. All right, let's give it a go with the extra gasket in the fuel pump. So that should bring the pressure down. See if we've won. Yeah, unfortunately no real change there. You can kind of hear it hunting too, so I think that idle mixture screw, I think the bore inside's damaged. I think it's got to be it. Anyway, since the last video I did order another carby that's fully restored. That's on the way. So that will be the test. If we put that carby in and it still does the same thing, well, then we throw the motor in the ocean. No, only joking. I mean, look, my problem here too, I don't actually have a gauge to check the pressure. I mean, I'd need to find some other copper light. Yeah, it's just a whole lot of work to try and sort that out. I mean, one more gasket normally would drop the pressure, and it hasn't really made any difference at all. So I still suspect it is that idle mixture screw. It's doing something to the mix of it. I don't know. All right, we'll bring you back in when we've got some more info. Now, I took the stretchers up to my sister's place. And look what she did. We have some beautiful original looking stretchers. I don't know if I'd want to hop in these things in an emergency, but anyway. But we've got the vinyl and we've got the hessian and the belts, and yeah, they come up fantastic. She did a really good job, and my mum helped as well, because mum's been a dressmaker for many, many years. And she helped with a bit of the stitching as well. So yeah, one more piece of the puzzle completed, which is fantastic. So the inside's looking good. We also have the belts to tie everything together. So that's pretty much completed. We have Matt coming today to do the headlining finally. He's been a busy boy. So this is going to get done today. It's going to be a bit of a tricky one. So I'm going to clean out all this crap here so we've got a bit of room to work. And yeah, then once the headlining's in, then of course I can finish the assembly in here. We can get the windows in, get the doors on, get the door frames completed, handles, all that jazz, steering wheel on. Motor update, because a few people were asking about the motor, that whole idling high business. It's not looking good. So basically what's happened is I did test the fuel pump and the pressure was kind of where it needed to be. And I can show you what I rigged up just to show you here. If you have a look, this was my jerry-rigged system. So obviously, because it does have a hard line, I just did this business here, just plugged in some thingos. We were running right around 1.2, 1.3 psi. So I've got a feeling that's never really the issue. My gut feeling is when I was cleaning the inside of the carby, I've actually wrecked one of the ports inside. I don't know. It's just the idle won't come down. So I basically just had to bite the bullet and buy another carburetor that's a fully restored one. That's coming from Europe. I don't know when that's going to get here. It's, sometimes Europe can be a bit funny, and you can be waiting 5-6 weeks to get anything. So that's going to have to be on hold until we get the carby. At least if we put the carby in and it does exactly the same thing, well, it can only be a fuel pressure issue, but I don't think so, because it was idling low as I had said in the previous video. So other bad news with the motor, it has 2 oil leaks underneath it again. So now I've got a feeling this has nothing to do with my repairs. I ended up using this stuff. Someone had recommended it to me to put the case halves together, and it's absolute rubbish. It's basically leaking from the 2 halves in multiple places, probably 3-4 spots I can see drips. Now these weeps or drips are over a 2 or 3 week period that they're coming out, but it's not acceptable for me to have this thing having oil leaks in it. So unfortunately it means the motor's got to come out for the second time, get completely disassembled, and I am going to use a high temp silicon to put these halves together. I know some people probably say, oh, that's not the right thing to do, but that's what I'm doing. And I have talked to a few other people that build these motors, and that's what we're going to use. So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. Just, that's life with this stuff. Sometimes you've got to redo things again and again and again. Now, it is a 25 horse case. I can't replace it. It is the matching case numbers. It did have a lot of corrosion inside it too, so it is what it is, and we've just got to get it to work. So yeah, that's going to have to be a job again off. I probably won't film it. I mean, you guys have seen me pull it apart and put it back together 100 times, so at least we can get moving on today as effort and get this nipped up, and then we can get the doors and all that on it, so and go from there. All right, so we have some specialized tools here, which means only one thing: there's material on the ground and more material on the ground here, and a mat standing there. And this time no Star Wars socks. What happened?
Oh
no.
fine.
Oh well, doesn't matter. Okay, so what we're going to do, we've got to put some, what is this stuff, by the way?
It's like an underfelt, like a deadener.
Yes, of course, because we don't want to hear the people in the back screaming when there's an arm amputated, and so yeah, sound deadening is good in this. So yeah, we've got to stick a little bit of that up on there. That's the first step, and then we can continue from there. All right, let's get going. Okay, so far so good. We have these parts clipped. We're doing the gluing now. We've got to do some spraying around the edges. And then, of course, everything gets pulled tight, slapped into position. Okay, so Matt's left the house and lets us have a bit of a looky here. Pretty nice indeed. Very strange headlining the way they were put in these ambulances, and I suspect just because it was they weren't a mass-produced vehicle, they just sort of slapped them in there. But that's pretty much, we had some original photos, and yeah, you can see there, that's pretty much exactly how it was. I can show you some photos. There you go there, so you can see in this photo that same perforated headlining in exactly the same position. So yeah, even down to that side weird corner panel, which is very strange. Anyway, that part's done. So now what we've got to do is this needs a little bit of loving, a bit of polishing, so we can get that installed. And then of course from then on, now we can get the doors, the rubber seals put in, the rest of the door cards back. Now, in more exciting news, look what's come in the mail. The new carburetor. So this one here has been fully restored. I don't really see a lot of difference between the one that I restored, but I think it'll be internally will be our issues. So let's see what happens. If we put this in and we still get a high revving motor, well, we have, I would say, some sort of an air leak somewhere that we couldn't spot, or the fuel pressure is still not right. So let's get this thing installed.
A few moments later.
Righto guys, well, we have success. That was stuffed. So I don't know what happened to it, but have a listen as she's idling. And she's idling down at a proper RPM. Woohoo! We'll just have a play around with the mixture screw, but success. Damn happy. Phew! Well, there you have it, guys. So a new carby, and the little baby is idling like a champion. So I've just got to hook up the choke there, but at least that's done. But of course, it's all got to come out now. We're going to completely strip it. Oh, dearie me. Oh, the pain, as Dr. Smith would say. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode. It's starting to get dark. At least it's sort of happy news anyway. At least we got it sorted. So we'll catch you in the next video, which I reckon the next one will be probably it, because we'll have the doors and all that stuff on, and it'll be test drive. So, yeah. All right, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Cheers. You.